never gives up. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe is there!
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained Special Mission Force. Its purpose? To defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare.
Hey everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons. And I know usually Saturday Morning Cartoons are, you know, in the morning. But I knew this was coming, and I was originally planning on doing the Cobra Island Vipers, but when I saw that this was coming today, I decided, today being Saturday, actually the day I'm recording this, I decided I wanted to do the video on this. This is the G.I. Joe Classified, Amazon exclusive, Heavy Artillery Roadblock. This is the Roadblock we've been waiting for. This is the one that is very, very, very much a all-grown-up version of his vintage action figure, and we will be taking a look at this very soon. First, I want to take a look at the packaging, though, because something has changed. That while this does look like your standard packaging with Roadblock in the window, you get to see all of the accessories. You have this artwork, this piece of artwork down here, and you have basically the mirror, the flip of that unique piece of artwork filling out the side. Over here, you have these symbols, which is the new file card system for G.I. Joe, which I really hate. But on the back here, and we've been looking at a lot of the Cobra Island exclusives lately, so we haven't seen this picture for a while. But one thing that is worth mentioning is, if you take a really good look at this, now we have Beachhead, we have Major Blood, Firefly, we have the Vipers, and these, it's been pointed out that some of these are different colors than the action figures that were part of the Cobra Island exclusives. So there are some people that are theorizing that maybe this means we're going to be getting regular retail releases just with different color variations of these figures that were very hard to acquire because they were Target exclusives. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen, although with Baroness being the face of PulseCon, and we've already gotten Baroness, I'm not completely nixing the idea that we might be getting standard retail releases of some of these figures. For one, Baroness, I would not mind getting this version of Baroness here with the gold armor pieces. That would be kind of cool. So, I don't know. Does it mean that we're going to be getting regular retail releases of these? Now that a lot of us have been able to get the Target exclusives, it would be interesting because all I need is Beachhead. All I need is Beachhead down here. But that's what we have. That's it for the packaging. Standard fare. Just the picture on the back has changed. So without further ado, let's get this open and let's take a look at Heavy Artillery, Amazon exclusive, G.I. Joe Classified, Roadblock. Okay, everybody, here he is, Heavy Artillery Roadblock out of the box. And the first thing we will do is we will put the tape measure to him, and we'll see how he measures up compared to some of the other classified figures. Now, these are 6-inch scale. Typically, they come in at about 6 1/4, 6.5 inches. Roadblock should be a little taller because he is a beefy boy. So if we put the tape measure to him, we see that to the top of his noggin, Roadblock is approximately 6 3/4 inches tall, getting close to 7 inches. So there he is. He is a bigger figure than a lot of the other ones from this line, which is appropriate considering he's Roadblock. Now we take a look at the articulation. Having no hair, Roadblock has no hindrance on his head movement, so he can look way back. He can bury the chin. He has a full 360 rotation. He has a butterfly joint in his shoulder. Shoulders will do a full spin. Shoulders will come up a little bit past 90. This is very loose on both sides, and we'll get to that in a second, but this is going to be disappointing for a lot of people, and it may just be mine, not the figure in general, but we'll look at that in a second. He has a bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows with some really great travel. He has wrist swivel and rock in and out. That's on both wrists. Normally, I prefer that the gun holding hand be an up and down instead of an in and out. However, with the weapon that he holds, the minigun, it's actually good that it pivots this way. He has an ab crunch. He can click forward. He can click way back. Now, he has a little bit of play but I don't know if that's coming out of the ab crunch or if that's coming out of the ball joint at his waist. It's still not nearly as bad as what the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow does. He does have a bit of a ball joint at the waist, so he has a waist twist. He can go side, he can go side, he can go back a little, he can go forward a little. He has drop-down hips, so his legs can come way out to the side, better than Spider-Man. He has, forward, back, kind of, thigh swivel, double-jointed knees, boot cut, ankle goes back, ankle goes forward, and a forward-facing pin for rock. So he has all of the standard articulation of a G.I. Joe classified figure. Now let's talk about the sculpt on this guy, because this is a lot of reuse. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at the legs here, and as you can see, these legs are reused from the original Roadblock figure. Right from the boots all the way up, it's just that these are painted dark, much like the redeco was of Roadblock when he came out. These legs are the same from the original figure. The sculpt is the same. You can even tell that this holster for his pistol, which we'll take a look at in a second, was specially made for this figure because it has to stretch and fit over the hip pocket or the thigh pocket, cargo pocket that he has over here. He also has over here. And this is really tight. There's like no play in this, because a lot of times the web gear on these guys is a little loose and you can move it around. This is on there. This isn't moving. If you heated it up, you would probably be able to get it to slide and even pull it off if you wanted to take it off, because it is a little bulky, but that for the most part is not moving. His arms are the same arms as his original Roadblock figure on both sides, even right down to the gloves. They're just painted a different color. But he does have an all-new face sculpt. And this face sculpt is great. This is what I think of when I think of Roadblock. This is the way that he's supposed to look. This is very much in line with his vintage figure. This is the image of him that I have in my head. Now, hold on, where did I put it? Here we go. If we bring in the other one, you can see that, like I said, this is much more vintage looking. This has some better paint apps, some better face printing on it, I feel. This one, the original one, is very shiny. And a lot of Marvel Legends, a lot of Star Wars figures have that problem too with Hasbro. But I like that this one is a flatter color, is a flatter finish, so you don't get that shine to it. Okay, now if we lift them up here, and we take a look at the leg sculpt, there is a minor difference to the legs, and that is to their left leg. That if you look at the original one, he has this big bright kneecap over here, this knee pad right here, that if you look at the new one, this is just a flat piece that was molded to put over his knee. It's not even textured like the right one is. This is just a flat piece of plastic that the more you look at it, the more out of place it looks on this figure, because the pants are textured and wrinkled. This knee is textured and wrinkled. This one is very flat, very smooth, and they molded it just specifically to take the place of this knee pad so that the legs would be uniform. So if you look at it from a distance, if you look at it on a shelf, it's probably not going to bother you, but it is one of those things that once you see the difference between the knees and you see how out of place this one actually is, it doesn't even fully cover the articulation joint like this one does. Once you see that, you can't unsee it. Now let's set him aside for a minute, because there is something new about this figure, and that is the torso piece. And at first I thought this was going to be the torso piece of this one just without his vest, or this was going to be the torso piece of the Target exclusive, but it's not. This is new, and the only thing that makes it new are these lines along the hem of his tank top. This isn't just painted on, like the tank top is sculpted onto it a little bit on the edges. And I think that is new. I don't think they've used this body before, because I think the Cobra Island exclusive was a full shirt, just sleeveless shirt. It wasn't a tank top like this. So I think the torso is new. So the torso is new, the head sculpt is new, and this knee piece is new. Now, as far as the face sculpts go, I acknowledge that there is really nothing wrong with this one, and there there will probably still be people that prefer this face sculpt to this one. Well, that's easy enough. Because what you can do is, you can mix and match your roadblocks. That the original face, the original head, the original face sculpt actually doesn't look bad on the new figure. So that fits very well. There is a slight difference in skin tone. I don't know if you can see it under these lights or if you can see it through the camera, but there is a slight difference in skin tone. But the fact that if you can't see it through the camera tells you just how slight it really is. You really have to be looking for it. And likewise, the new head can also fit on the old body. So you could do a head swap on them if you wanted to, if you preferred this figure but this head. Now, Roadblock does come with a few accessories. The first thing we're going to take a look at is this helmet right here. That this isn't just a green helmet. There's actually some sculpting done to this. You can see that it's sort of layered, that you can see the web gear underneath the helmet with the straps that come down. I really like that. And that fits right on his head very well. It's a very snug fit. Now, if you're going to do a head swap like we just talked about, the original head for Roadblock is a little smaller than this one. So even though the helmet will fit on the original Roadblock's head, it won't be as tight a fit, as snug a fit as this. It'll be a little loose, but you can still do it. Something else that he comes with is this pistol right here. And this almost looks like a Desert Eagle. This almost looks like a real world gun. But when you look at the top, of it and you look down the barrel, it just veers out of the realm of being something real. But to me, this is a Desert Eagle, and nothing is small with Roadblock. And this is very easy to put in. Just fits in his gun hand, push and twist, and there you go. He has his pistol. Now, his pistol does fit in this hip holster right here. It is a very tight fit. It is a very tight fit to get in there. You really have to push down. I don't even know if you heard it squeaking. It's definitely not going to fall out. But I believe that a reason that it is so tight is because that it's pushing against this sculpted on pocket right there. That the rubber doesn't have much room to expand, so you get that tight fit. But that's no problem, because let's be honest, what we're really going to be dealing with is this. This is his new main weapon. This is the minigun. This is replacing the railgun that the original Roadblock came with. The barrel rotates, and the ammo chamber down here does slide off. So if you had an additional ammo chamber or ammo drum, you could stack them up around him. We're going to be getting an additional ammo drum once we get the RAM, and we'll take a look at that once that comes in. Now, while I think this is a good update, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this, and I think a lot of people are going to like this, personally, I'm still looking for Ma Deuce. I need to get a third-party Ma Deuce because Roadblock needs to have his Ma Deuce. You can also see that the barrel is bent a little bit in packaging. But the barrel does rotate. There are holes in the barrel. Let's see if we can focus in on that. There are holes in the barrel right there that Hasbro claims will take a blast effect. It's the right size to take a blast effect. However, they didn't supply any blast effects with this figure, so we'll have to pull those from someplace else. A few criticisms, well, not even a few. One criticism that I've heard about this is that the real minigun has an ammo belt that comes out of the front of the ammo canister and plugs into the side of the weapon, and that's how it gets its ammo feed. It doesn't feed up through the bottom of the weapon. It comes through the side and plugs into here. And I've heard people criticize this for not having that element of realism to it. Well, the other issue is, if you want to talk about realism, this isn't something that's meant to be carried. I don't care what the movies say. This needs an outboard power source. That's why it's mounted on vehicles. It needs an electric power source to spin the barrel and power the weapon. So he shouldn't even be carrying it open-handed. So let's not nitpick about a belt, about an ammo belt coming out of the drum and into the side here. Now, he does look good holding it. I will give him that much. Getting it into his hands can be a little difficult because his hands are tight, but once you get it in the first one, you can pretty much get it into the second one. There we go. And now let's get his helmet on him. And now comes my major criticism of this figure. And like I said, it might just be mine. I hope it's just mine and not everybody's is doing this. But his arms are too loose that they won't hold in place. And they won't hold the minigun in a proper firing position. He'll start to droop. And that's a little disheartening. I was able to get some photos out of it. You have a limited amount of time before it starts to droop. Now, you can lean him back. You can cheat. You can get some positions out of him, because you kind of have to lean him back a little bit anyway. Of course, now it holds, or else he would fall forward. And here he is compared to a few other figures from the G.I. Joe Classified line. We have the Cobra Trooper, and we have Destro. You can see that he is much taller than the Cobra Trooper. He's even taller than Destro, and Destro is on the tall side himself. Just to give you an idea of how tall Roadblock really is, here he is with a 7-inch Ming the Merciless and Flash Gordon from the Defenders of the Earth series by NECA. Like I said, Ming and Flash are both 7-inch figures, and Roadblock actually seems to fit in. He's a little bit shorter than Flash, but he does seem to be able to fit in with this line. Here he is with another 7-inch line of McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat figures, definitely shorter than Scorpion and Liu Kang. McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombats tend to be on the little high side of the 7-inch scale. And he just doesn't stand right. This figure ended up being a big disappointment. And finally, here he is with Jazzware's Wicked Cool Toys, Spartan Collection, Master Chief, and Cat. And he seems to be able to fit in real well with the Spartan Collection, which is kind of cool. Chief is taller than him, but Chief is taller than most of the Spartans in this line. Cat is about the average height, I believe, for most of the Spartans. So, yeah, he seems to fit in real well there. I have to be honest, I really like this figure. I really like this one. I feel like this is what the Classified line should be, what the Classified line could be. My only issue is, why did it take 4 roadblocks to get to this point? We had the first one, we had the redeco of the first one, we had the Cobra Island Target exclusive, and now the one that everybody wanted from the beginning, the simple one that we wanted from the very start, was an Amazon exclusive, and not everybody was able to get their hands on him. Why, Hasbro? Why is it happening like this? Why couldn't this have just been the retail release? And then this guy could have been the Amazon exclusive. Maybe not with all of the gold, maybe with the redeco version, but you could have made this the Amazon exclusive and modeled this as like the 2nd gen Roadblock, because I think there were two different Roadblocks. One was very similar to this. There were 3 if you counted the Tiger Force release. And then I'm sure there were more going into the 90s, but I was out of collecting the vintage line by the time the 90s came around. But this guy, this should have been the first one. And I love this figure. And even though the arms don't always stay up, this is definitely the figure that's going to be on the shelf. This is the figure that I'm going to be displaying. This guy right here is going to get thrown in the tub, unfortunately. But that's what we have. And I also love that you can mix and match the heads. The heads will fit each other. So if you did like the original head, you can pop it on this one, and you can make your own perfect Roadblock. You can customize your Roadblock. I think that's great. There's a lot of options, and options are always good. So, that's what we have for the new Roadblock. I'm a big fan of this figure. I'm not a big fan that it took so long to get him, and I'm not a big fan that he's an exclusive. And I do truly hope that everybody who wanted one of these was able to get him. So we do have more Classified. We do need to take a look at the Viper, because I have the Viper, and we have Lady J, we have Flint, we have a lot more Joes to look at. So until next weekend, or until the next time, play well, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.
Determined to rule the world.
He never gives up, he'll stay till the fight's won. G.I. Joe will dare. G.I. Joe!